Hey everyone, it's Throbby back again with the strategy face-off. We took a little bit of a layover from our last one. Our last one obviously was Europe Universalis 4 versus Hoi 4, EU4 1. Actually lied at the end of the video. This one is CK2 versus Victoria 2. A lot of people probably haven't played Victoria 2, but a lot of people have played CK2. And we're going to jump right in here. Obviously, if you guys remember, we're trying to just basically do this entire bracket and figure out what is the best strategy game of all time. I mean, we have all the different metrics that we're judging it based off of. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into all of the different metrics. So Crusader Kings II was released in 2012, developed by Paradox, and is actually still alive due to decades of DLC. This is not your typical map painting game. It's more of a family simulator with political consequences. You don't really play as a nation. You play as a person, then their kid, then their inbred cousin, and everything just goes wrong. It's all about dynasty, religion, and betrayal. You can forge alliances, backstab your family, seduce rivals, and accidentally create a horse pope if you want. Think Game of Thrones meets Excel spreadsheets. This is CK2. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I've put in tons of hours, and I think that this is actually a big contender to make it deep into the bracket. On the other hand, we have Victoria 2, released in 2010, also by Paradox, is a very nerdcore grand strategy game. It's set in the 1800s, and it goes all the way to the 1930s. It goes right through the Victorian era into the Industrial Revolution, colonial expansion, and all the political chaos that comes with it. You manage population classes, industry, politics, and diplomacy, and you watch the whole world modernize while you play. Every decision affects millions of simulated people. Your farmers, craftsmen, capitalists, and soldiers all have their own needs and ideologies. You manage a living economy. This is a really complex game. I think this is one that a lot of people have not played, and is actually a dark horse to win this matchup. All right, for category 1, it is strategic depth. What we're asking is how many meaningful, non-obvious choices exist at any moment. And for CK2, personal politics and strategy through chaos are two big mechanics that really hold this game together. There's infinite layers, so many different things can happen at any given time. Issue is that math kind of takes a backseat to the madness. There's not really a perfect formula. There's lots of chaos. It's kind of hard to plan. Sometimes you do everything right and still get murdered by your own son. In Victoria 2, big things are strategic depth. Every decision, trade, tech, and politics ripple through your population, and global scale. Everything affects the world. You have to balance the industrial growth. You can crash the world economy. So many different things can happen. The issue is its rigid structure. Once you learn the systems, it's mostly about optimization, and you can master Victoria 2 in a way that you can't really master CK2's chaos. The winner for strategic depth is CK2 because its depth feels more alive. Every move affects people, not just numbers. Victoria 2 is about perfecting a system. CK2 is about surviving a story. Okay, so category 2 is complexity versus clarity. Is the game deep and understandable or just overwhelming? For Crusader Kings, it's complex, but it's readable. Once you learn how to navigate its chaos, the systems start to make emotional sense. You're not just tracking numbers, you're tracking grudges, and there's lots of menus with meaning. Every screen connects to a character or story. The issue is the UI has aged like medieval bread. It's there, but it is not looking good. Victoria 2 is insanely detailed. It simulates an entire 19th century world economy, population classes, ideologies, factories, and politics all clicking together like a Swiss clock. And it's very rewarding once you master it. The issue is it's opaque as hell. Nothing makes sense unless you watch hours of tutorials. The UI explains nothing, and the economy feels like a black box. The winner is CK2 because its complexity is human, not mechanical. You might not understand every modifier, but you get betrayed, love, revenge. It makes sense. Victoria 2 is brilliant, but half the time you're not strategizing, you're just debugging the economy and trying to figure out what's going on. Category 3 is replayability and variety. Do factions, maps, and events meaningfully change gameplay, and how fresh does each new run feel? So for Crusader Kings II, every playthrough is chaos in a new costume. Start as a Norse raider, Byzantine emperor, or some random Irish duke, drama always hits different. The dynamic storytelling, there's just so many different random events, character traits, and emergent storylines that make no two dynasties feel the same way. The issue is there is some DLC bloat. By the end, you're juggling so many different systems that half your campaigns die in the setup screen. Victoria 2, on the other hand, different nations equal different challenges. Playing Japan, Britain, and Brazil all feel unique in scope and pacing. The modding community adds huge variety. Popular overhauls like HPM and HFM basically turn it into a new game. Cons, same song, new instrument. Once you learn core systems, building industry, managing pops, expanding influence, you're mostly repeating the same routine with new flavor text. The winner is CK2 because no two campaigns ever tell the same story. Victoria 2 gives you a different starting point, but CK2 gives you different destinies. It's unpredictable, personal, and endlessly replayable because people are the chaos engine. Category 4 is balance and fairness. Which game actually feels polished, consistent, and fair across playstyles? Crusader Kings II, the chaos is consistent. When things go wrong, it usually makes sense of the story. Your downfall feels earned. Player freedom, you can play tall, wide, peaceful, or murderous. At least the game tries to support it. The issue, balance, never heard of it. Some mechanics are broken by design. Assassinations, inheritance, and RNG events can nuke your entire campaign at random. Victoria 2 is an internally coherent system. Everything, economy, politics, population, feeds into another predictably. It's fair within its logic, even if it's brutally complex, and a consistent feedback loop. When your economy collapses, your pops revolt, you can trace exactly why it happened. It's a pretty good design. The issue is the global imbalance. Great powers dominate, small nations struggle to play. The winner is Victoria 2, and Victoria 2 wins because it's a more consistent sandbox. CK3 thrives on chaos, but Victoria 2 rewards understanding. It punishes mistakes you actually made, not random dice rolls. This one actually is probably the most one-sided. I think CK2 might be the most imbalanced Paradox game. Okay, so category 5 is AI and challenge design. The intelligence, adaptability, and engagement of AI, and which game's AI provides smarter and more engaging opposition. So for CK2, predictability and unpredictable. The AI act like real people. They're petty, emotional, and occasionally brilliant. Social challenges over military challenges. Winning wars is actually generally easy. Surviving your vassals, family, and secret lovers is the actual boss fight. The issue is AI brain farts galore. Allies abandon wars, enemies forget how boats work, and your genius heir might randomly start dueling chickens. It's fun, but it's not smart. Victoria 2's pros, systemic AI logic. Nations behave based on interests, alliances, and economic needs, not random mood swings. It's consistent and strategic. There's long-term challenges. You're not just reacting, you're planning for decades ahead. The issue is it's sometimes passive. The AI can get stuck in observer mode mid-game, letting you just snowball if you know what you're doing. The overall winner will be Victoria 2. Victoria 2 wins because it actually plays chess, while CK2 is kind of reality TV. The AI isn't flashy, but it's logical, competitive, and challenging across the long term. CK2's AI is entertaining, but it's not very strategic. And category 6 is system design and synergy. How well do the game's systems actually talk to each other? Economy, diplomacy, tech, and war. CK2, everything feels personal. Your diplomacy, wars, and intrigue all connect through characters' ambitions, and the system is basically your family tree. Religion, vassals, and power all overlap. Faith and feudal policies consistently collide, which makes the world feel alive. The cons are it is disjointed under the hood. Systems and pieces don't really sync mechanically. Your economy doesn't really impact your armies, and the tech kind of just drifts along in the background. Victoria 2 has true interconnectivity. The economy fuels your armies shape your policies, and your policies influence your population. It all loops together. Everything has consequences. Expanding too fast causes economic strain. War changes trade routes, and tech shifts the social order. It's a living simulation. The con is system overload. Once you pull a lever, 10 others start moving, and it's not always in ways you understand. The winner for category 6 is easily Victoria 2. Victoria 2 wins because its systems actually breathe together. It's not just deep, it's interconnected. CK2 systems tell a great story, but Victoria 2's systems actually build a strategic world. Category 7 is Immersion Theme. Does the music, art, and writing actually pull you into the world? For Crusader Kings II, the soundtrack is pure medieval magic. Choirs, lutes, and chanting Latin while you plot a cousin's murder makes every campaign feel epic and cursed at the same time. The event writing sells the drama. Every pop-up has flavor and personality. You don't just read your ruler's downfall, you feel it. The issue is the visuals show the game's age. The art style and portraits are charming in a janky way, like medieval oil paintings done on a Windows XP monitor. Victoria 2 has an elegant and grounded presentation. The parchment-style map and orchestral soundtrack and soft pastel color palette absolutely nail the 19th century world in progress tone. Its music captures the age of empires. The soundtrack feels intellectual and grand. You can practically hear the steam engines and nationalism rising. The issues, the writing and events lack personality. They are functional and historical, but they don't really grab you. The winner is CK2, and CK2 wins because its music and writing pull you into a living world. Every song feels like a prayer before battle. Every event feels like a diary entry from a doomed noble. Victoria 2 sounds like history, but CK2 feels like history. Category 8 is user interface and quality of life. Which game actually looks better from a UI clarity to map readability and art direction? Crusader Kings II is functional but flavorful. The menus feel medieval in tone, full of icons, seals, and parchment textures. And you always have something to click. There's no shortage of buttons or details. Everything has a purpose somewhere. The issue is the UI is a maze. Finding what you need sometimes feels like playing a puzzle inside of your strategy game. Trying to find characters that are lost. All of these things kind of make the UI a little unreadable. Victoria 2 is clean, readable, and consistent. Everything from the map to the resource icons has clear logic. You can see the entire state of your nation at a glance. The map is simple but elegant. The pastel colors and national borders are soft shaded, making them easy to read. The issue is it's outdated visually, not functionally. It's not flashy, but it gets the job done. It's a well-aged spreadsheet rather than a shiny new interface. The winner is Victoria 2, and it wins because clarity beats clutter. CK2's menus have character, but Victoria 2's UI actually helps you play the game. It's simple and functional and readable. Category 9 is community and mod support. Which game has the stronger mod scene and more creative community support? CK2 has one of the greatest mod scenes ever made, from total conversions like Elder Kings and Game of Thrones to smaller tweaks that overhaul politics and religion. CK2's community has turned the game into a platform, not a product. There's endless innovation. The issues is just there's too much choice, overwhelming choice. It's hard to know which mods to use, and compatibility can turn your load order into a medieval tragedy. Victoria 2's is dedicated and passionate, but it's very niche. Mods like the Historical Project mod and Historical Flavor mod keep the game alive with new events, nations, and balance changes. The issues, if you want to call it, it's small, but it's mighty. The mod scene is strong for diehards, but nowhere near CK2's scale or creativity. And with that being said, the winner is CK2. CK2 wins not just because its mod scene became legendary, it's reborn over and over and over. The community did not just expand the game, they redefined what grand strategy can be. Victoria 2's modders are brilliant, but CK2's modders are unstoppable. Category 10 is legacy and impact. How much did the game shape strategy history, and is it still relevant today? CK2 is genre defining. CK2 didn't just make its mark, it created a new subgenre. The character-driven grand strategy. Everything from Total War's politics systems to indie dynastic sims owes something to CK2. Longevity through community and DLC, people are still playing to this day. The issue is the DLC mountain. Its legacy is slightly tainted by the sheer cost of entry. This game is trapped behind a paywall labyrinth of DLC. For Victoria 2, it is a cult classic. I played this and I could not wait for Victoria 3. I talked to so many Paradox fans and they said, well, I never played Victoria 2. I never played Victoria 2. I don't really care about Victoria 3, and I could not wait for it to come out. It heavily influences Paradox's future design. The population and economy systems laid the foundation for mechanics in Hearts of Iron, Stellaris, and Victoria 3, and EU5. The issue is it's kind of frozen in time. The code and design are so complex they never truly evolved. And the winner is CK2. CK2 wins because it changed how we think about strategy games. It proved that story could drive grand strategy, that personal politics, family drama, and emergent narrative could be just as compelling as Conquest. Victoria 2 inspired design, CK2 inspired devotion. All right, and there you have it. 6-4. The winner is Crusader Kings II. I don't want to say it barely edged it out. I think it is just definitively a better game than Victoria 2. Victoria 2 is a dark horse. I think it's actually a very good game. But we all kind of knew going into this one, CK2 is one of the best strategy games of all time. So unfortunately for Victoria 2, it had to face up against CK2 this early. Tune in next week where we have CK3 versus Stellaris. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys think Victoria 2 should have won. I'm not sure there will be many, but let me know. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to wishlist Winterreach Emporium in the description. Thanks, guys.